Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Mezzotagger, and welcome back. So, I was outside doing yard work, and I don't know why I thought about it, but it came straight to my mind, especially when it's hard to make videos at this point, or come up with ideas for videos rather than just posting gameplay. It kind of hit me. So, a lot of pro players and people that play game battles or just people on YouTube in general will tell you to get better, you need to practice. And although my channel has pretty much blown up because I teach you guys certain things about the game that you may or may not have known, but I elaborate them in the best way that I possibly can, and you guys like it, and I'm very thankful that you like it, and you're very thankful for me, teaching certain things. But when I say something broad like practice, and when other people say something broad like practice, we don't really get into what the fuck or how the fuck you actually practice the things that you're supposed to be practicing. So today, I'm going to get into that further, especially if you want to get into competitive Rainbow Six Siege, or you're aspiring to go to the pro circuit, or you just want to win a couple ESL weekly, whatever, tournaments. This video is going to help you through the whole practice process, or the majority of it. So number one, let's talk about the mindset of actually practicing. So even though it isn't the funnest thing in the world to do, you have to fucking do it. And yes, I said I'm going to get into what practicing actually is or how you get better, but this is the first thing that I want to cover, so it makes more sense when I get on down the line in this big long fucking video I'm about to make. So, Michael Jordan didn't get great at playing basketball by not fucking playing basketball. He dedicated his life to the sport, and look at him now. Everybody knows who Michael Jordan is, and everybody 100 fucking years from now will at least hear the name Michael Jordan. Nonetheless, any team, whether it be an esport, an actual, physical sport, anything that takes teamwork or individual skill requires practice. It doesn't matter who it is. The downfall of a team or a person is always due to the lack of practice. And even pro teams in those physical sports or esports, you watch streams of teams scrimming, you're gonna hear, oh, well, you don't like to practice, or so-and-so is bitching about practice, or you'll hear them fighting about practice. So to summarize this first section, yes, it sucks all the time. Yeah, even myself sometimes, I don't want to practice, but as Shia LaBeouf says, just do it. So for all my viewers that want to get into competitive Rainbow, the very best way, the only way to practice at a higher level and get ready for certain competitions and tournament and certain teams is to scrimmage. That word gets thrown around so much, and maybe some people are confused. But the very first thing I recommend you do, as I talk about in almost every video when it comes to competitive Rainbow, is go start a Game Battles account and get your friends on Game Battles and get your team together. I recommend playing a couple Game Battles matches before you actually go in and start scrimmaging. That way you can get used to, what people pick and certain rules and match settings that comes with the game. And here in a second, I'll elaborate on how to find scrimmages, but I think it's really important to talk about what scrims are for, what to practice in scrims, and how to go about practicing the scrimmages. So, you gotta find dedicated scrimmages in your time zone, and someone that won't leave after one map. A lot of teams out there will agree to a scrimmage, and if they, get their asses kicked, even though you guys are trying new things, they're going to leave after one map. That's just the way it goes a lot of the time if you do find a team that isn't on your level, or at least better than you. Secondly, you're going to want to find a scrim in your time zone, because a lot of the time, you might talk to somebody on the forums who is just a little bit brain dead, and they'll say 3 o'clock, and 3 o'clock comes around, say you're Eastern Standard like I am, and they're in Central Time, you're going to have a bad time, It's not going to be the same time. It'd end up being, 4 o'clock? I'm not sure what the exact conversion is there. But make sure it's someone in your region and in your time zone. That way your ping isn't too high if you're playing doubles or 3v3 or 4v4. If you're in 5v5, your ping won't get too high because they're on dedicated servers. But nonetheless, find someone in your region and in your time zone. So now it's kind of time to elaborate. Say your team that you have together is very bad at setting up and collapsing. And say your worst map is Clubhouse. You guys need to practice on Clubhouse. And say you're very, very, very bad at attacking Arsenal and Church, because when you get into competitive play, 99% of the time you're going to end up playing Bomb. And say you're very, very bad at attacking Arsenal and Church on Bomb. You guys are going to have to go in with the mindset, of course, that it's only practice. All you're doing is you're practicing, you're trying new things, and you're trying to get better. And like I said before, with a team that is equal or better than you. And you are going to try to attack this objective. And when you're scrimmaging, you're going to want to look at anything and everything that anyone and everyone are doing. And if that certain thing works, use it for yourself, but don't exactly bite it. Figure out what they're doing and why they're doing it, and then think about a way that you could possibly improve it a little bit and go from there. You know, like I said, if you're bad at attacking Arsenal in church, maybe you guys figure out how it is that you're attacking Arsenal in church in a bad way. So, you know, maybe on your first defense round, you figure out what the other team's doing, and if they full-on bulldoze you, you maybe try to mimic that in a way that you're doing it your own way, but also taking something away from something that they did. So say they're pushing two people, utility, or garage tunnel as a lot of people would call it, and then two of them are hitting the hatches, along with someone pushing long haul from stairs at double door, and then that person's like pushing through the church after someone's already focused on someone in the hatch above. Well, you know what I'm saying. So just figure out what it is you need to improve on and literally go into it with the mindset that it's only practice and you're trying new things and you're not trying to dominate here. You're just trying to get better and learn new things. Another thing to keep in mind is you shouldn't judge the other team or your teammates based on things that are happening in the scrimmage. So like I said before, it's about practice. So if the other team is really like lagging behind or just getting the shit kicked out of them, you shouldn't judge them on that basis, because maybe the strategy that they run regularly that they're not trying to practice because they already have it down perfectly, maybe when they run that, they're unstoppable, but they're trying something else and seeing if that works better. So along with your teammates, if they're trying new things and it's just not going right for them, as long as they're still fitting into the mold of what your team is doing strategy-wise, it should not be an issue. So, you know, it's not the time to break down your teammates, or break them down, I should say. It should be a time to have a breakdown on what they're doing, but it shouldn't be a time to break them down mentally. Say your teammate is doing something that they shouldn't be doing, or there's something they could be doing better. Give constructive criticism. Don't call them a dumbass. Don't get mad at them. Say one of my teammates is running sledge, and for whatever reason they don't reinforce the utility hatch, and he hits that hatch and he's just looking down the hole for, 45 straight seconds. I could say something like, yo man, next time, drone that and then drop accordingly, or rotate around to the end of the tunnel, or, come back to bar since nobody's going tunnel. Say they had the door castled. Maybe you could rotate around to double door at long haul and help me push that while the rest of the team's in kitchen, or the rest of the team's in cave. Things like that. Give them constructive criticism, help them fit in where they need to fit in. Without constructive criticism, a lot of times, things like that don't happen, and then that could be the one reason that you lose, is because everybody was too scared to say anything. And yes, there's a lot of people out there that are Charmin fucking soft. I mean, soft as toilet paper, soft as Charmin. And if they can't take constructive criticism in the way that a normal person would, without getting butthurt and going soft and getting offline, then that person shouldn't be on your team in the first place. A lot of you guys that are here from playing me in game battles probably know when I first started, climbing the competitive ladder in Rainbow Six Siege, I started off playing doubles, and then I met my main doubles teammate by playing him on game battles. And we scrimmaged doubles, which is very, very rare, until we got it 100% right. There's a great quote, and no one knows who came up with the quote, but it says, "Don't practice until you get it right, practice until you can't get it wrong." And we probably ran a good 300 fucking hours on house, figuring out what we could do better, giving each other constructive criticism. And if you are here from playing me on game battles and doubles, you understand how painstaking it is to play us on house. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying it because we put the work in, and by God damn it, I am entitled to be able to talk about how much work I put in. But it's not about that. It's about the fact that if we didn't put in that much effort, that much time, and then turned around and did that on pretty much every map on the game, we wouldn't be winning as many matches as we won, and we still would not be anything. And a lot of the things that you'll learn, even if you're running doubles or threes, or 4v4 can be translated into a 5-man team and then done better on top of that. So for instance, this is something that we wouldn't do in a 5-man team, but on game battles when we're playing doubles and we're stuck with going to garage as our second objective on the rotation, since the objective rotation parameter is set to 1, you say you defend master bedroom successfully, you can't pick that in the next defense round, but you can the round after the next round, so every other round. When we get stuck with garage, we've learned over time that it's better off, since we're very good with our gun skill and we have pretty sharp aim, that we reinforce the left garage door that only has 2 panels that go up, and then we cut a hole, I should say. We shoot a hole across the right side that is a 3-panel garage door, and then we force people to outgun us on that garage door because they can't run up and put a breach charge on that door because they'll get shot, and it forces at least one person on their team to stand outside that garage door and force them to outshoot us if they think they're going to win. And again, we wouldn't have learned that if we had not practiced that or gotten to the point where we understood that that was the best thing that was going to work for us on that objective. So lastly, as I promised, I'm going to tell you guys how to find scrimmages. So if your team is together on game battles and you've gotten that far at least, the best way to find a scrimmage is either I'm not even going to say either. Everybody on your team needs to actively get on and look for scrimmages, because if one person does it, you're going to waste a lot of fucking time, because sometimes it takes up to 2 hours to find a scrim if you're not a top tier team. So the way that you find them is you go into the game battles forums, well, the MLG forums, and you post a post about scrimmaging, whether it be doubles, 3v3, 4v4, or a full 5-man squad. You post that you want a scrimmage, what time zone you're in, what time you want to do it, and then you go from there. And also, you have to, of course, post it in the Rainbow Six section, but you can also go on, look at some of the top teams, or some of the teams that are a little bit better than you, is what I would do to start off with, because top tier teams aren't just going to scrimmage with anyone. They're going to want to scrimmage with top tier teams, or teams that are better than them, or just as good as them. So find someone that's just a little bit better than you, or someone that, if you haven't played a game battles match yet, find someone that, maybe they're 0-1, so they've learned some things, or they're 0-5, so they've learned some things, they just haven't clicked yet. Find someone that will scrimmage you by going through the team ladder, or the doubles ladder, and message everyone individually, as painstaking as it might be. Message them individually, find their gamer tags, message them. A lot of people will link their Twitter to their Game Battles account. That way it's easier for people to contact them about scrims, or follow them on Twitter. Look for the Twitter logo next to their names. Send them a message or a tweet on Twitter. That's probably the fastest way to get a hold of them, aside from messaging them on your console or on Steam. And just take this very seriously, very professionally, and just focus on getting better. And the other team will be doing that too, as it's a scrimmage, but like I said before, make sure you find a dedicated team that isn't going to leave at their one map. So guys, I did try to structure this in the best way that I possibly could. Sorry if I went from like one point to another without hitting the last point that I should have hit before the last. I'm really bad at that sometimes, and I know I am, and I'm trying to get better at that, and I've been trying to practice that. Practice, as I've hinted on the whole freaking video, but it's still really hard for me, and I know I've gained a lot of subscribers really fast, so sorry for that, and I'm going to try to get better at that. So go ahead and tear me up in the comment section about it, because it will make me better at it, because I want to practice it more, because it means more to you guys, and it's something I can do to get better, and ultimately it'll get me closer and closer to my current goals. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and it maybe shed some light on how to actually, practice. My name is Inverted Joker, and I'm signing out.